James Thomas Morning Blend. It is Morning Blend again. We're talking about movies. Yes, I stuttered for a minute. I had to figure out what I was saying. Today I got Tony and Janelle again, and we're going to talk about a movie coming out. It's the sixth one of what we call Scream Six. That little mask, that little funny looking mask. So, and it's the next installment. It's the Survivors of the Ghostface Killers leaving Woodsboro behind and started a new chapter in New York City. Matt Bettinelli and Tyler Gillette, starring Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega. Everybody knows her as the new Wednesday. Courtney Cox is back, yes, along with Jasmine Savoy Brown, Mason Gooding, Samara Weaving, and Hayden Panettiere. I enjoyed this movie. I'll go ahead and get started. I enjoyed the movie. I mean, I'm a little queasy when it comes to gore. I really am, but I kind of hung in there a little bit. I still can't watch The Last of Us, but Scream Six, it was kind of. I was really interesting to me, Janelle. That was very interesting. It was like a machine gun. So, but I thought it was fun. The story was good. The actors were good. I liked the train scene. You already knew what was going to happen in the train, but I enjoyed the way they did it because the movie doesn't do the same thing in the train. Everybody does the same thing when there's a spooky movie in the train. So it was like, okay, here we go again. Janelle.
I thought it was great. I think these last two, Scream 5 and Scream 6, I think they've done a great job as far as kind of rebooting a continuing series, a franchise, as they continue to say. Um, always love the cameos that they managed to find for these movies. I think the cat every time you think, okay, like wow, that's who they brought in for this one. They really do a great job. I think even actors themselves love to be in these movies. They're not parodies of horror films, but they upfront tell you the tropes and the directions that these movies should be taking. And I enjoy them. I think it's just nice popcorn fun.
Tony?
Totally agree. I mean, once Radio Silence took over with last year's Scream, it's been pretty apparent they want to, breathe fresh life into this, but also have a lot of fun at the same time. It is very reminiscent of slashers of the '90s with the campy feel and some of the let's say the story tropes, and they even poke a lot of fun at themselves. It's a very meta take as well. For those that saw last year's entry, it is very meta, but it's tense, it's gripping, it's full of twists and turns. And I mean, this new cast, like you couldn't have done a better job casting. And I'm just core four, baby, core four.
Okay. Speaking of casting, yes. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Speaking of surprises and cameos, here we go.
Yeah. Janelle was throwing a shoe at
I saw that.
side of the room, so because they always manage to do it now.
Right.
It's great. But no, I agree. I think like me and Tony were discussing, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son is part of the core four, and you don't really hear about that legacy acting line going on. So it's kind of fun to see him in the movies. I think the cameos really kind of make those movies.
What would you give it? You know,
Um, I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Tony, you same thing?
I would agree. I mean, it's imaginative, a lot of good kills in it. That it is gory at times, but it's not like the Saw franchise by any way. But I mean, it is a really fun slasher film that keeps you guessing until the very end.
I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 too. And thank you for mentioning that. I didn't realize that was Cuba Gooding's son.
I was
Mm-hmm.
gonna shout out Janelle. We were talking about that in the theater. She pulled that out. I was like, wow, yeah.
Man. All right, let's move on to the next movie, which was very, very fun. It's called Champions. It stars Woody Harrelson, Caitlin Olsen, Ernie Hudson. Cheek Marin is getting older. And I love the kiss it was doing. It stars in a hilarious and heartwarming story of a former minor league basketball coach who takes a lot of missteps and starts dealing coaching players with intellectual disabilities. It's a very heartwarming film, 123 minutes, directed by Bobby Farrelly. So we'll let you go first on this one, Tony.
I love this film. I had the privilege of seeing it about a week before James and Janelle. I couldn't wait for them to see it. It is so heartwarming. It's so funny. It is just a comedy with a giant heart, and that's really the most important aspect of it. Perfectly cast. Woody Harrelson's great, but Caitlin Olsen steals the show, man. I've never seen her get this much time by herself on screen. Obviously, the husband of or the wife of Rob McElhenney from There's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But it's very funny. But the star of this is the kids, and I did want to shout out all their names. I did write them down. So if I get any of these wrong, I'm sorry. Kevin Iannucci, Madison Tevlin, Joshua Felder, Ashton Gunning, Matthew Vonderah, James Day Keith, Alex Hintz, Casey Metcalf, Bradley Edens, and Tom Sinclair. They are the star of the show by far. They get to do their own, and everyone's going to compare this to The Ringer because that's really the closest comparison there is. But it's such a more respectful take on those with trauma or Down syndrome or any kind of special needs. But it's a very, very good story about family, and I can't recommend this one enough.
Janelle?
I completely agree. If you could get anybody to the theater to see a movie this year, I think this one needs to be it. It's just for the fact is it's so uplifting. A lot of these movies now have a deeper, meaning and seriousness. And I think if you want one that you will feel good pretty much from beginning until end, this is the movie you need to go see. The cast was great. You can't say enough good words about the chemistry between everybody. It was just, and some of the like jokes that they would make were like, oh, especially at the very end where he is trying to make them all feel like champions. And one particular boy, when he stands up and tells his team what made him feel like it's just. It's still very good. Like it works very well, but it's very great. I think the writing was amazing. Woody Harrelson is, if you didn't love him before, you will love him after this. He looks amazing for 60. What is he? 61, 62? You just can't say good enough. Yeah, no, he was born like 61, so.
Okay, I'll go along with it. Yeah, you're making me feel okay.
He looks amazing.
Cheers. What's going on here? I can't. Okay, so I really enjoyed. I don't know his name, but the backward basketball. I loved him. I thought he was
Showtime.
Great. Yeah, and then Madison, is that her name?
Yeah, she's the girl.
Man, so good. Folks, you're gonna fall in love with Madison like I did. She was a hoot, as we say, definitely a hoot. So I'll be the first one to say it. I'm gonna give it the same thing we just gave Scream 3, 4 out of 5. It was that heartwarming and that good.
I completely agree. I think 4 out of 5, 4 and even 4.5 out of 5. I think it's excellent. It's Disney-esque in its feel, but it saves that it doesn't have that extra notch of cheese, as me and Tony were talking about. It does dial it back enough that you're not like, like you feel so sick after it. It's so sweet.
Oh no,
it's perfect. It's a perfect blend.
Tony,
I'm gonna lean it to 4.5 out of 5. I think this is the first time Bobby Farrelly's ever been without his brother solo on a project. It's an absolute home run. I don't know why Peter didn't want to get on this, but the Farrelly brothers, for those that don't know, me, myself, and Irene. There's always something about Mary. Or there's something about Mary. Sorry, Dumb and Dumber. So they're known for that kind of crude humor, but there's such a giant heart behind this one. Bobby, you did a fantastic job. I hope everyone goes to see this.
I have a friend of mine
with Down syndrome.
I'm still laughing at the crude humor. That's
yeah.
I have a friend with Down syndrome, and I was lucky enough to be able to send him and his family last night. And he texted me afterwards how much he loved it and how they all cried and how affecting it was to them. It really meant a lot, and I knew it was going to after seeing it, but I seriously can't recommend this one enough.
There you have it, folks. There's our reviews for this week. We'll see you next week.